I'm a person of experience. I will only ever talk about experience and how I've dealt with things. And I totally go off the cuff. So please understand, if you have questions as I'm going, pop them in the chat just so that I can get to them. You won't throw me off or anything like that. So, God, my goal with my coaches, and I want to say it's the same for Ray, is I hope to have a giant fucking machete and to take things down in front of me so that you don't have to go through the same thing. And I hope that you'll be able to learn from mistakes that either Ray or myself have made, so that you can be more successful than we are. That's what we want, right? We want you to be more successful than we are. And I got to be honest with you, I wasted a lot of time in this business. You're here right now, which shows me that you care about making this into a business, right? You're spending your precious time on a call, not just to hear me blab about something, but to hopefully take something away from this. This is your precious time. I've never known that more than right now, being a new mom. My time is so valuable, and all of my coaches, they know that now. And so it brings me to a new level, which is ultimately, as crazy as it sounds, I think that's why I've been so successful in this past month, is because I've been so laser focused and I've stopped messing around. If there's one thing that I hope, and I get to be, here's the cool thing. Okay. Let me just pause for a second. Here's the really cool thing that I get to do is I get to come in here and just slap you guys around if I want to, because I get to give it to you straight. Maybe the things that Ray wants to tell you, but can't, or doesn't feel like it's kind of awkward to say this. Stop wasting your time. Stop wasting your time scrolling social media. Stop wasting your time saying that you're building a business when you're just watching other people's things and watching somebody else create their dream life when you can be creating yours. Stop wasting your time. I wish I'm still right now, almost 4 years into the business, digging myself out of this hole, this metaphorical hole with my husband, because this, as I say, is building my business, to him just still looks like social media scrolling. It does, right? And to anybody else, or to a parent, or to when you're around family, like, I understand that there is urgency in wanting to build this business, that like, you're like, oh, I got to send the share cart, but I'm at a family barbecue. Let me just get on my phone and send it real quick. Well, to somebody else, they don't know that you're sending that share cart in order to make money to build your business. To them, they're not important enough to you. So you're on your phone, right? This business is here to create, I don't know what your dreams look like. I don't know what your goals look like, but I'd like to think that you want to work smarter, not harder, spend more time with friends and family, less time working, right? I mean, that's kind of, I don't know, maybe you want to work all the time. Maybe you're just crazy like that. But here's the cool thing. The work that we do is impacting people's lives, right? It's actually helping people. So we want to spend time doing that. You guys are hilarious. But don't waste it just by scrolling on your phone. Get focused with your time. Get really, really focused with what it is that you're doing. Time block your days, whatever it takes to get there. So let me give you a quick pause there, background on myself, how I got started, where I am now, and why this call hopefully matters to you. So I started coaching, I don't know, 4 years ago, way back when I was a D1 college athlete. I told myself that I knew what I was doing when it came to the health and fitness world, but I was missing the team aspect, right? I grew up playing sports my whole life. I was missing the team aspect. A girl who I played college golf against invited me to this opportunity. I said that I was doing the things. I wasn't doing the things. I was a challenger. I was like the worst challenger in the world. I literally would log my shakes, but I didn't drink the shake. I would log my workout, but I didn't actually do the workout. Like, how fucking lame is that? But I wanted to please her, right? And then I realized it wasn't hurting anybody but me. Same thing with the business. I can say I'm doing all the things on social media, I can make it look all glitzy and glamoury, but that's not hurting anybody but me. I talk about this with my coaches a lot, and I'll get back to my story. I'll bounce around a little bit, but I talk about this with my coaches a lot. When it comes to being a show horse versus a workhorse. Are you a show horse? Are you just showing up in your stories and prancing around, posting your workout videos, showing your shakes, doing all the things? Or are you behind the scenes in the DMs messaging people every single day? Are you actually loving on the challengers that you do have? Are you talking to the coaches or prospects that you want on your team? Are you behind the scenes in the trenches? Don't just be a show horse, because a show horse doesn't get you anywhere. There's a lot of coaches in the business that are just show horses. Trust me. And you think that they're making all of this money, and you think that they're rank advancing and doing all of these things, and it looks so good, and they've got the perfect filter and all of those things. It looks good, but behind the scenes, they're just crumbling, and they're, sitting at Emerald for 2 or 3 years, and they're not doing anything with it. But that's, again, who's that hurting? Them. Right? So at the time when I first got started with this business, I was, and this isn't even really necessary to go into, but I feel like it's necessary to go into. I was a new stepmom of 5. My husband was married before with 5 children, and I completely lost my identity. Completely lost my identity in who I was. I love kids. And so for me, being a stepmom seemed like a really awesome thing because it was more kids to love. But I realized very quickly that I loved them, but they didn't necessarily love me back. And so this business quite literally saved me, because I was able to love people in this business, and they then loved me back. And if any of you guys are Enneagram 2s, that feels really good, right? That feels really good. So for me, that's how I built this business, was on emotion, which was a great place to start, right? And so a lot of us are in this business for the right reasons: to hold yourself accountable, to be loved back by customers, to be able to love on coaches, right? But then there comes a point, and if you're anything like me, I've drawn so many lines in the sand. I've drawn so many lines, and I drew the line in the sand, and then I was ready to start. And then I drew the line in the sand again, and okay, no more of that. How many times do you say to yourself, okay, this is the time this is going to happen. This is the time this is going to happen. Guys, unless you are crystal clear on what you actually want your future to look like, no messing around with it. Like, again, this is show horse versus workhorse. You can say, like, have you ever read a book or listened to a podcast and they're like, okay, now grab a piece of paper and write this down. And you're like, okay, I'll do that later. Have you ever done that? Like, where you're like, oh, okay, I'll do that later. Or if you're, somebody tells you to do something and you're like, I'll get to that later, but that doesn't matter. I'll just think about it in my head. Y'all, if you are not writing down your goals, you are missing out on major opportunities in your life. You need to get crystal clear. Some people work from moving towards goals, and some people work from running away from something. You need to figure out which one you are. You need to figure out if you're running away from something. I don't ever want to go back to that place again. I don't ever want to be in that financial situation again. I don't ever want to have somebody treat me like that again. Or I want to run towards the money. I want to run towards the house. I want to run towards the, relationship, marriage, whatever. You need to figure out which one you are, and you need to understand that whatever works for you only. And you need to be okay with it working for somebody else, but not for you. Right? So you need to figure out crystal clear what matters to you, because I realized that, again, I kept telling myself, like when I had all those stepkids, my why was so that I could have a great future for all my stepkids, and that I could, buy them whatever they wanted. That wasn't enough for me, because that wasn't it for me. That didn't push me hard enough in this business. Right now, I realize that now with a baby, I don't ever want my husband to work as hard as he did last fall, because I got scared that he was not going to be present in our baby's life, no matter how old, how young he was. That was enough to push me. And I got to be honest with you, when it comes to big events that go on in your life, um, it feels really easy to shy away from social media, and it feels really easy to just hide just a little bit because things are tough, right? I literally haven't stopped showing up in my stories. Even the day that I gave birth, I was on a team call 4 days later. I'm not telling you that this is how extreme you need to be, but I'm telling you that your consistency matters. I'm telling you that people notice. I'm telling you that 3 to 6 months down the road, you guys have probably all heard this, 3 to 6 months down the road, when you plant your seeds, that's when things happen. Guys, I have a almost 5-month-old, and last month was my biggest month I've ever had in Beachbody world, ever. And that was because I showed up consistently and I kept telling people, no matter what, I'm going to be here. And I proved it to them by being the workhorse, by showing up in the DMs and following up with people saying, hey, haven't forgotten about you. And they're thinking, holy shit, she's got a 2-month-old at home and she's following up with me. So whatever that might be for you, no matter how busy you are, if you have a full-time job, if you're in school, if you're whatever you're doing that might be perceived as something that would take away your time from other people, but you're still showing up for them, people are going to remember that. So don't stop showing up. And the other thing, be relentless. You don't get to decide if somebody's going to say yes or no to your invite. You don't get to decide if your 15th time of following up with them, where you feel like you're bothering them and they've ghosted you for the first 14 times, follow up till you die. I mean, quite frankly, there's a lot of people out there that are just scared, but there's also a lot of people out there that have major anxiety of letting people down. So please remember that that anxiety of letting you down could actually be their fear telling them it's really what they need. Does that make sense? I don't know if that made sense. It made sense in my brain. There's a lot of people that are so afraid to say yes when it's really the thing that they need most. There's a lot of people that just need friendship. There's a lot of people that just need community. And we all know that that's what we can provide to them, right? So your dream has to be crystal clear. Your thing has to be crystal clear. And you need to write it down, and you need to show up for yourself every single day. And you need to show up and show people that you're consistent every single day. Yo, this business is not difficult. It's not difficult. And if I'm being honest, last month when I had my biggest month, it was just momentum being built. I protected my momentum at all costs too. That was something that was really important, was from January until last month, I worked really hard to make sure that nothing got in my way and that I just kept pushing. And so last month I followed up like a crazy person. The people that I knew had been sitting on the sidelines and watching, the people that I knew that needed to be reached out to. Sometimes people just need to know that you care. I mean, really, that's what we have isn't really crazy. What we're doing isn't really difficult. I mean, really, we overthink everything, right? That's that's what it boils down to. I don't have some sort of like earth-shattering message to give you other than just keep going. You need to keep going, because that person out there, the person that you used to be that needed this, she's out there too. And you need to keep showing up to make sure that you get in touch with her, because she needs you. You need her. And you don't get to make that decision for somebody else. You don't get to say to decide if maybe now they have the extra money. Maybe now they, you don't know what's changed from them from the last month. So keep asking. If there's anything that I can, trying to think of anything else that really has done it for me. I gotta say, just going out there. and actually doing the things that I said I was going to do. The line that I drew in the sand was finally just to show up, to stop doing, as much messing around or listening to all the trainings or doing all the things or like getting my feet, just in the right position, but just running. Even if I tripped and fell, even if I skinned my knees, I just kept going forward. You just have to keep going forward. You really do. And you just have to, you really just have to keep showing up. And the thing is, your confidence in this business comes from helping people. Let's keep it simple. Our job is to help people, period. If you have one customer, you are doing something, but make sure that you have that one customer that's sitting at your table, that you're serving them, that you're not out in the street banging pots and pans trying to get everybody else to come in and leaving that customer alone. You need to serve that one customer, because you don't know, that one customer could have a 25, 50-pound weight loss or something on those lines and could get off of their, diabetes medication or whatever and have this incredible transformation. But if you don't plug into them, you don't know that, right? And if you don't give them the chance to actually make a change, then what are you doing, right? It's not complicated what we do here. We help people. We invite people. Here's the other thing that I want you to do. Stop watching other people's stories. Stop watching other Beachbody coaches' stories, please. Because I know for a fact, I can watch somebody's story. I can watch a brand new coach's story. I can watch a veteran coach's story. And I know when something isn't their words. I know when something isn't their flavor, their vibe, their text, their graphics. Like, I know immediately with barely even getting to know them. And you have to come from a place of authenticity. You have to come from a place where, like, the way that I show up here, it's the exact way. It's the same way that if you were walking into my home right now, you're going to get the same me that you get here, that you get on my stories, that you get if you're inside of one of my challenge groups, that you get if you're one of my coaches. You're going to get that consistent person. I realize that this takes time. Truly, it kind of takes time to actually become yourself. And it's a really beautiful thing, but don't let other people's words, thoughts influence you to the point where you start showing up inauthentically, because it shows. It does show. Yeah. Stop wasting your time watching other people's stories. Again, you're watching somebody else live their dream when you could be creating yours. I guess one of the other last tip that I could give you, and again, these are probably things that you've already heard. I'd love to open it up to specific Q&As, just because that's kind of where I really thrive. I don't think I'm doing anything different. I'm just doing a lot more of it. What was I just going to say? Oh, if you can, what was I just talking about? Guys, mom brain's so weird. It's very real. Stop wasting your time. I don't know what else. There you go. It's gone. Boom. Out of here. There goes my thought. That's pretty normal. It's very normal.
That's my current life.
Mm-hmm.
Every day.
Well, it doesn't go away. It gets almost worse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of crazy. If you guys, I'd love to have it opened up to a Q&A. Nothing is off limits. Nothing is off limits at all. And if I think of my thought, I'll bring it back.
I just want to say while you guys are thinking of questions, and they know this, they know that the more questions that they ask, the more success that they will have. So you all better be coming up with some questions. But I just really want to say that wasting your time is such an understatement. It can be so quickly just pushed to the side. Oh yeah, I'm not going to waste my time. But along with wasting your time, she literally could not have said it better, especially right now with the hustle season that we are in as a team, of being a show horse versus being workhorse. That could not be more on point, because you will see other coaches right now, especially as we're coming into a launch, be a show horse. They will show up, they will put all of these pretty pictures, they'll talk about all of these things, but they're not behind the scenes. And with that, I just kind of want to add a little bit of a tale to that and say, when it comes to what you're doing behind the scenes, be the worker who doesn't need recognition, who doesn't need praise, who doesn't need to be in a show, who doesn't need to have an audience that knows what work they're doing. That was a massive mistake or thing that held me back that I have switched recently. And I notice it as well in myself and in everything that I'm doing. So just to add on to that, don't waste your time, which goes along with don't be a show horse. But with that, be the worker, be the workhorse who just does the work and is okay with that. You don't need to have everybody know that you're doing the work or what work you're doing. So yeah, open it up to questions.
I do have one more thing to say too.
Yeah, sure.
This is going to sound so simple. Be excited about something.
Yeah.
Like, be excited about something. I don't, it's not really worth going in numbers, but I'm proud of it. And I'll talk a little bit about May. May was a really big month. I hit Success Club 40, which was the highest I've ever had, which was awesome. But here's the thing, Success Club 40, so that's 20 people. 15 of them I sold the same challenge pack to. The same challenge pack, because I was excited about doing something that got them excited about doing something. 15 of those people I got challenge packs with 2B mindset, because I started talking about it, because I started doing it, and because I was relaunching it. Do not be afraid to relaunch something. Right now and this is just, don't listen to what I'm about to say with 80-Day Obsession, because if you're doing MBF, I think that's going to be an incredible program. 80-Day Obsession has been something that I've been wanting to do postpartum since before I had the baby. And so I'm relaunching 80-Day Obsession 2 years later, relaunching it with a community, with people. And so what I've done is I've told people, and this is something that I hope that you guys do anyways. I will send if somebody's ready to buy a shopping cart from me, I will send a follow-up voice message and I'll say, hey, listen, I know you just wanted the challenge pack, but I wanted you to know I'm getting ready to put in all of my favorite things in your shopping cart. Do not feel obligated whatsoever to buy them. I just want you to see these are some of my favorite things. And I will always add beach bars, power greens, hydrate, usually collagen, and what's the other thing that I'll add? Sometimes I'll add like a 3-day refresh in there. And I will always add those things because I just want them to see it. And sometimes they'll read about it and they'll be like, oh, that's fun. Because usually when it pops up at the end, when they're checking out of their shopping cart, they're a little bit hesitant to buy. Just not everybody's going to buy stuff if they don't know about it. But if they know that and also I follow it up by always showing those things in my stories almost every single day. I'm almost always showing a beach bar. I'm always showing Energize. But I don't talk about it that way, right? Okay. How many times a day do you do the bat? So my life looks very different right now just because I have a 4-month-old. And so I would say I work as much in power pockets as I possibly can, like crazy power pockets. And I will always try to get my IPAs or my income producing activities done early in the morning when I am feeling best, when I am feeling most charged up is when I'll send my invites. My days do look a little bit crazier right now, meaning like they're a little bit more scatterbrained throughout the day. But I will always try to track so that I can send my follow-ups easiest. I personally do try to send follow-ups, not all on one day, but I'll send them within a 2-day period just out of urgency. So the other thing that I've done recently, this is something that I did with my upline because I was like, damn it, I'm so good at the end of the month. Why can't I just treat every end of the month or every week like the end of the month? She goes, okay, let's treat every week like the end of the month. So I actually have an ongoing bet with her so that I have to hit Success Club by Sunday every single week or I owe her $50. And so I Venmo her $50 if I don't hit it. So I hit Success Club every single week. When you set a goal for yourself, go higher. If you're trying to be Emerald, make your goal diamond. If you're trying to be 1-star, make your goal 2-star, because when you create that limiting, roof over yourself, yeah, you might actually hit it. But good Lord, Success Club 5 should be a non-negotiable in your business, period. It is a non-negotiable on our team. Non-negotiable. 3 people. You need to be helping at least 3 people every single month. But so make it, 10x that probably sounds crazy to you right now, but at least 2x your goal. At least try to hit Success Club 10. And then that way your fallback back is Success Club 5. Okay. Did I sell all of the 80-day obsession packs? So here's the weird thing, actually. I don't know why. It's actually a technical glitch, because I just sold one today. I sold a regular challenge pack and added the 80-day obsession accessories, and it added 80-day obsession accessories for $15.
You can add them, but live chat and make sure it will ship, because it might not ship until August 22nd.
Oh, that's horseshit then.
So just live chat. Live chat, and just double check. I was literally on the phone for over an hour yesterday talking to way too many people about this 80-day obsession thing. Which is funny that you were talking about selling 80-day obsession, relaunching it. That's exactly what we were going to do. That's exactly what I was going to do. And I'm not even doing the program, but I was going to sell that package, and because it's the best one.
It is.
And it's out of stock. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll just sell 10 rounds. They can get they just add on the sliders and the containers, and perfect. They'll get the bands, they'll have everything. Because they don't need, 80-day obsession package. And they were like, yeah, no, they won't get the bands. Like, they won't ship them out. So I have no idea, but
here's what I was thinking. And I know this is so not Beachbody appropriate, but this is my husband's in sales. And sometimes by not selling somebody something, you're selling them something. So what I've actually done recently is I just recently bought bands off of Amazon. They're coming today. I'm going to see what they're like. And I've told people, listen, don't feel like you need to buy this. Use paper plates for sliders. Use paper plates. And for some reason, that gives a trust factor to people where they're like, oh, she's not just in it for the sale, which is totally, in the beginning of my business, I was like, you need the Transform 20 step. You need it to do this program. Did I think it was the best thing ever with the program? Yes, because it helped. But, go buy it somewhere else. You're going to spend the same amount of money, but do you need it for this program right now? No. And sometimes there's a weird trust factor that they're more willing to work with you if you don't push them into something.
Totally.
Yeah. How do I recommend bringing up the possibility of being a coach if you think they make a great coach? I find people who want to join get scared off when I bring up coaching, even if they'd be great. So I would say is,
hang on. Can I preface this, Annie, by saying, before you answer this question, do you lead more with the business or more with the challenge group?
I lead more with the challenge group.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to preface that, you guys, because not everybody's going to lead with one or the other. I lead with the business. Annie leads with her challenge group. So you have to know, you have to be able to take bits and pieces from both people. Because if you are, like, for you, Chantel, this is prime. I'm so glad that you asked this question, because you definitely are obsessed with the challenge group, and that's where your passion comes out. So I'm glad that you asked this question, because it's a perfect person to ask this for. But I just want to let you guys know, for the other guys who are listening, if you lead with the business, this may not apply to you. So take that and take the little pieces that come along with it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I am a huge, community is everything in our team, like everything. And so, it's where I've pulled every single one of my coaches from. That's just how I personally run my business. Is I will always tell people, and again, this is just me, I know that somebody will not be successful on my team if they're not plugging into the community. I know that they can't make it a business unless they're doing the things that I've sold to them. If I've told them about community, but they're not plugging into the community, if I've told them about Shakeology, but they're not drinking Shakeology, if they've, it doesn't connect. And so you need to make sure that when you send invites, you send them the way that you want to receive them. That's for challenge groups too. You need to send something like, if you happen to be, I realize personally, I'm the type of person that I'd rather you just ask me to do something rather than give me all the small talk and tell me that you like my dog and tell me that you like my hair and stuff like that. I just don't. And then, because I feel it like, oh, here comes an invite 15 months down the road or whatever. And I don't want Monet. I don't want your hair stuff. I use Head and Shoulders. Like, oh my God, please. I don't want it. So don't try to connect with me. But I'll tell them, if you want a community, if you want to actually get healthy hair from the inside out, let's talk. Right. So you need to invite people the way that you want to be invited. And if somebody told, and I don't know you, Chantel, but if I told you, for example, like, listen, the way that you are showing up in this community is incredible. You are so consistent. I can't believe you've just finished another personal development book without me asking. Your personality is so perfect for this team. And I want somebody to lead this with me. You'd be like, fuck yes. Okay. I love, like, yes, I want to be part of that. You have to find, and I'm not just telling you to fluff somebody up by complimenting them, but genuinely tell them a reason why you think that they would be a good coach. And lead it with saying, a lot of the times you just need to tell people, like, you're doing all the things. You're already doing the things. Tell me what's holding you back from not being a coach. You'd be incredible. So many times people don't even realize that they're showing up, drinking shakes, doing personal development, all of these things, talking about it to their friends and family. And you're like, well, why are you not making commission off of this? Let's sign you up as a coach. You're already doing everything. A lot of people think that it takes so much extra effort. A lot of us think that this takes so much extra effort. It doesn't. You ask somebody. If you see something in somebody genuinely, you think that they'd be a good coach, tell them. Simplify it, really. What's one thing that you can pick out that you think would be a reason that they would be a good coach? Are they really organized? Do they already talk about things to their friends and family? Do they already show up in their stories? Are they already posting on their Instagram? Are they already doing all those things? And you're like, well, come on, what's holding you back? That's how I would say it personally. What's holding you back? Let's get on a one-on-one. Let's chat for 15 minutes. So much of this business, I'm at the place right now where I'm realizing that my time is so valuable and that I need to be able to expand this way. But even still, with all of the coaches that I work with, there is so much value in showing somebody that they matter. I don't care how big you get. I don't care how small you are. Picking one person out and saying, hey, I see you. Let's spend 15 minutes. Set a timer if you need to. Let's spend 15 minutes connecting, and let's actually talk about the people who you think would be good. Actually spending time with somebody and getting that one person to Emerald. Like, let's get you to Emerald. Let me grab you by the shoulders and show you how this is possible, right? I think that's so important, and that's, what I try to spend a lot of my time doing. Yeah, you need to invite them to coaching when you become best friends with them. Yeah, girl, why are you not doing this with me, making money with me? Yeah. And you also have to understand that there are some people who don't necessarily care about making money, as weird as that sounds. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of teams that need glue. I just had this conversation with one of my coaches just last night. She hadn't been on team calls, and we made it very clear that, like, this business is not something that she wants to grow. However, she is the glue to our team. She's the glue because she's the person who shows up in her story. She does all the things, but she also goes in and talks to every other coach on the team and is like the rah person. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to push her. But if I didn't tell her a year and a half ago, you'd be so good at this, because I said to her, and I genuinely meant it, you'd be so good at this, in her version of her life, that was all she needed to soar. That was all she needed to have this ridiculous confidence boost. And for her, talking with other coaches on the team, that is her business within this team. And so that's like, you have to understand that sometimes you asking somebody to be a coach on the team might not necessarily be your next income producer, but it can lead to them having a massive confidence boost. And sometimes that's all people need. Just for you to say, hey, I see you. I see what you're doing. All right. What else? Oh, I know one more thing. Don't be afraid to talk about what this business is doing for you financially, no matter how small it is. One of the things I saw a lot of traction come recently when I was able to start talking about what this did for us financially, and the fact that, I've been pushing so hard and I was able to cover our mortgage. My husband's job he wasn't furloughed, but he works on commission. So he's in men's golf apparel. So obviously with golf being shut down, there was nobody buying $90 golf shirts. And so I took the brunt, and it was like the best motivator for me ever too. And again, you have to figure out what motivates you. For some weird reason, I loved knowing that I had the opportunity to bring money into our family. And there was like this badass mom moment where I'm like, I'm doing this. And that pushed me. That like really pushed me. And then also seeking that little nudge of approval every single Thursday when the check gets deposited, and having my husband actually notice that. It's been like the best thing ever for me. And it's what's grown. I mean, let's be honest. People don't always necessarily want to work this for money. But if you're spending the time on this call right now, I mean, raise your hand if you kind of want to make some money in this business. Yeah. So let's make some money in this business. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to talk about how small it was. Don't be afraid to talk about how you were able to buy personal development books without even thinking about it. Like that can be done with one paycheck, right? I was able to cover the cost of all of my products. I was able to, it doesn't matter what that looks like, but you need to be talking about it. You need to be talking about it so that when people come to you, or when you come to them talking about the business opportunity, that they're like, well, what business opportunity? Okay, what else we got before I scoot out of here?
If any of you guys have like one or two more questions, I do want to ask you, Annie, what does your tracking system as far as invites to follow-ups look like working in pockets of time? Like, do you track them in any way? Like, do you actually track your invites in any way and then have a list that you work from to go and follow up? Or what does that look like now that you're working in pockets of time?
Yeah, so I actually am, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Josh Coates. Are you familiar with Josh Coates? So he's a business coach in this world for network marketers, but he's also helped a lot of Beachbody coaches specifically. I've been working with him for a while. His tracker is really intense. He gave us a tracker. He gives us a tracker that basically it's intense, but it's not crazy. And so much of the tracker is based upon creating connections and not necessarily invites. Like, in order to create a space for an invite to come, you have to create connections. Like, if you're not growing your following on a daily basis, if there's nothing else that I'm doing, I'm growing my following, creating connections, meaning I'm talking to somebody, not necessarily complimenting them, not necessarily doing something super ingenuine, but just, hey, thanks for the follow, or thanks for coming to my page, or whatever, something that feels really genuine that I would say to somebody on, like, in real life. And create, talking with something that's going on in their stories or responding like that. I'll do at least 10 of those a day. And I'll follow at least 10 new people a day. And so I do it in bite size. I've also noticed that I'm the type of person, and again, you have to figure out what works for you. I froze in this business when I tried doing the Kate Schultes invite 60 people every single day. It just didn't work for me. I tried it. I got so burnt out. If it works for you, that is amazing. And I give everybody, so much credit. You have to figure out what works for you inside of the business. So for me, it's bite-sized chunks consistently. That's the book, The Slight Edge, changed everything for me last fall, just because I understood that it was just a consistency. The whole idea of the flywheel, it just takes a little bit of motion to get things to where they're like working on their own. So now I create conversations with people without even thinking about it. That for me is everything. I use an Excel spreadsheet, and I wish I didn't. I wish I used Google Streak. I wish I had some like super fancy format, but I just use an Excel spreadsheet. And sometimes I'll start, I'll start it in a notebook, because that's just how my brain works. No matter how good you think you are, no matter how great of a memory you think you have, because I pride myself on my memory, you will forget people, and you don't want them to fall through the cracks. You will forget people. And honestly, let me go back to what I said in the very beginning. Following up with somebody and saying, hey, I haven't forgotten about you, is like the most powerful thing that you can tell somebody. Because even if you have a thing to remind you to send a follow-up, you're still sending a follow-up, and you're still thinking about that person. Even if it is business related, it's genuine. If you know it's genuine, and you're following up with that person. And sometimes that's what people need, is just to know that somebody's thinking about them. Yeah. Hey Siri. I do that all the time. Yeah. I don't have some super fancy tracker. Even like the tracker that Josh gives us in his push group, it's supposed to be done on Excel spreadsheet. I have to fill it out pen and paper first, and then go back and do it through Excel spreadsheet, like all on a Sunday, just because I know what works for me. Consistency.
Yeah, I love that. I also would love to say and add on to that you guys, tracking, you have to write down the people that you're messaging, but what you do with that, the system you create with it, it needs to be yours. So I've got, like, beside me, I have a book for invites. I've got a book for, like, I have my business activity tracker right here. Do I fill it out every single day? No, because sometimes I'm not working here at my desk. Sometimes I'm working in my bed, or I'm working on the couch, or I'm working at, my in-laws. So find what works for you, especially if you are doing the pockets of time. Find what works for you. Just don't forget about those people. And I will tell you that if they fall through your crack, they're falling to another coach, and they will sign up with somebody else. Somebody else will invite them, and somebody else will catch them. If you lose them, if you let them go, and you are not that person that's consistent, they will find somebody else to go to. Okay.
And last thing, when it comes to tracking, I actually track my customers. Meaning, what do I mean by that? I will track if I have sent, and this sounds silly, but it's been incredible for customer retention. I have a really high customer retention rate. Our community, I have people that have been with me for 3 solid years that have not let up on programs. And that's because I will check in on them, but it's all about, and I hate the whole idea of onboarding people, because there's so much pressure in onboarding people. It's not about onboarding somebody. It's showing them the ropes from the beginning. Meaning I will always tag, I don't know how you guys run your challenge groups, but inside of our Facebook community, I'll make sure for the first 2 to 3 weeks, when somebody is new, I will tag them in things so that they know how to find them, how they know how to find where it is. And I will always make sure to send them a welcome note. That's just something that for me is like such a big deal. And it's like, once they get their they can like release their training wheels after a couple weeks, where you don't have to be constantly checking in with them. I do send a weekly email, but not everybody checks back with the weekly email, right? I can't expect them to do that. But for me, making sure that they feel part of the community immediately, that's what feels, so they're like, so many people when they join this, they're like, well, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to sign into my Beachbody on Demand. Feels silly, but like helping people just get started is such a big deal, and not like leaving them to the sharks. Yeah. Okay. What else? Any other one more question before I go?
One more question.
You can ask me anything.
Anything.
Nothing? Be relentless. Everything should have urgency. Pretend like every single Wednesday you're trying to hit a goal. I mean, really, if you're really looking at it from big picture, Emerald's not difficult.
They're all Emeralds.
Perfect.
Except for Tasha, she just started. She's brand new. First team call ever.
Yes. Oh God, welcome. Sorry.
Double Emerald, I'm just saying.
We have diamond pushers
Just
here, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it. There's nothing more beautiful than a couple discount coaches too, guys. And remember, those discount coaches come from sending people recipes, sending them Shakeology recipes. You love Shakeology? Hey, just an FYI, your Shakeo is about to reship. Before it does, just wanted you to know you can become a loyalty member. That's what I say. I have a text saved in my phone. It's in my Ditto. Are you guys familiar with the Ditto app? No? Okay. Ditto app. This is going to be I actually get to give a takeaway for today. Oh my God, what a beautiful thing. Okay. So you open up a text message. It's an app that's on your phone. Okay. That in your keyboard, see all these little tabs? Those are pre-written messages. The messages that I send to people all the time. I don't care if this is your first day in the business or if you've been doing this for a long time. These are messages that I send to people all the time. DITTO, Ditto. It's an app. Add it to your keyboard. Basically, I have follow-ups already written to people. I have messages because I know they're already written to people. Hey, your Shakeology is about to ship in a couple days. Just wanted you to know before it does. Here's how you can become a loyalty member. If that's something you're interested in, let me know. And then right after that, I have another message. Yes, how do I do that? And then I send the next message. I do the same thing. This is also what I do for people that are trying to get, like when I'm setting up their shopping cart, I'll give them Shakeology options. I click, let's see, where is it? I'll click one button, bing, and it'll, oh God, it'll automatically, no, that didn't do it. I'm trying to do it up here. It just auto-populates, text replacement. Yeah, that works too. But this just for me, it has different tabs. So each tab for me is something that like I have one that just has my like name, coach ID, and email. Because if people are transferring or something like that, I have that pre-written. Just things that take you an extra second. Your time is valuable. I'll have invites, follow-ups. What's here? Like silly stuff like that. It helps a lot.
I literally use I use the text replacements and I use shortcuts. So for those of you guys who have been around when I've explained that, like my follow-up is FU. It's really funny because when I'm sending somebody, it's an FU. But you find what works. Find what works, you guys. Okay. Thank you so very much. I appreciate your time so much. These rock stars on here are literally the ones, and they all have teams of their own, which is amazing. They are here and ready to roll. So if there is one thing though, you guys, that I can tell you that you can learn from Annie, it is pour into your people. Pour into your people. There is literally nobody that I have ever worked with that pours into their community. When she says community is everything, that's literally where I learned it, was through working with her. So if there's one thing that you can take away from the way that she runs her business, even though we run our businesses a little bit differently, it's pour into your people. Pour into your people. They are already there. They're already there. Give them the life-changing opportunity that you told them you were going to. Annie, I literally appreciate you so freaking much. You know, I adore you. I love you. And
hold on. Here he comes, crying baby. Wait, pause. Come here, you.
Can I get a seat?
Yeah.
Sorry, hold on.
That's okay. Hi. Hi. This is JB.
This is what you worked so hard for. Hi, baby.
Hi.
Oh my God.
Sister Piper. This is our life. Hey, buddy, you're okay. Okay, y'all.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your night, you guys, and we will talk soon.
Thanks. Bye.